Right guys, I really must apologise. Oh, hang on. I'm getting some reverb feedback going on. Oh, hang on, it's my test. Let me just... Sorry guys, I've been talking for the entire stream. No one's hearing anything, I think. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's better. Right, the reverb's gone. Sorry, Ginger. I did say hello. I asked you how you were doing, how your weekend was, and then I thought you were just busy because you hadn't responded. Riz, I said good morning to you. Asked you how your elf had gone, and then realised that my little microphone audio bar's not moving up and down. So nobody's heard anything. So apologies. I say I'm working aimlessly today. I don't really know what I'm doing. Oh, I don't know if I did actually, Ginger. Did you tag me in it, mate? You post it on the Discord or anything? 3-day weekend, Riz. Very nice. Sunburn. Let's check. Ah, you did Bruno with the... Oh, he's looking nice, mate. God, there's been loads posted up in here and I haven't even seen it. Let me go and have a little look through, see what everyone's been posting on. So we saw Debbie's Tractor Gore. And then here we go, here's yours. So you did your Bruno with the tartan. Mate, that was brave of you. Very brave. Did you use the old tartan paint for that? And some beard shots. Looking good, matey. Oh, and Mr. Smith's been doing some sea creatures. Well, look, I like his octopus. That's cool. And an aboleth. Very nice, very nice. How long did the tartan take you on the kilt there, dude? I love how everybody always goes straight out Scottish with the dwarfs. So most people don't even think about it, do they? Just go, right, let's get the old Scotch accent in. Go for tartan, sheep, bagpipes. Not too bad. Hour's not bad. Could be far worse. Oh guys, if you ever join the stream, by the way, and I don't speak at all, and I haven't put like a message up on screen to say I've lost my voice or some shit like that, assume my microphone's off and I haven't noticed. Feel free to call me on it, okay? It's not the first time it's happened. I don't know why. It's like for some reason I haven't changed the settings myself, but it's just kind of randomly decided to use some microphone instead of having a name. It's just a random string of numbers, and it's meaningless and doesn't exist. Yeah, I think it must be some. I haven't streamed in a few days, so it must have been like an update over the weekend or something like that, or it just refreshes your settings once in a while. we're gearing up at the moment for the kids to be getting finished for the end of summer again. Well, end of summer for the start of summer holidays. Oh, and I actually finally finished the mural in my son's bedroom last night. I started it in November. I've been trying to chip away at it because it's one of them things that's just massive. It's literally the second I put the finishing touches on, my daughter turns around and goes, "Can you start mine now, Daddy?" Oh God. Yes, of course. I'll throw some photos in Discord later. I don't think I've got any on hand at the moment. I don't think I took a photo of them. Just double check. Oh no, it actually appears I did take a photo of it. Let me just I'll grab it and I'll show you guys. There we go. That's his mural all finished pretty much. Absolutely killed me, that has. It still feels too sparse. I wish I could be bothered to do more background on it and actually finish it properly. But I think for what it's worth, he loves it, so it's going to stay as. Oh mate, don't even go there. The squares took absolutely forever. Especially trying to like highlight and shade them as well. So there is you can't really tell in the photo, but there is like a little bit of highlighting going on the squares to kind of vary up the texture. Still got to do a little bit of grass texture on the grass under Sonic, but everything else now is pretty much finished. So very, very pleased it's done. But yeah, I'll ping the pic in Discord later, I think. And the next one I've got to do mermaids and under the sea type theme for Willow. So. But he loves it. Jacob's impressed, so that's the important thing. Well, I've done all of that and he's gone, "Oh, isn't it?" But Link looks wrong, Dad. I didn't want Kirby in that pose. I didn't want Pichu. Yeah, that was my weekend anyway. Kids had a pyjama day and I had a painting day. Oh, I also had a bit of time in the office on Saturday for a little bit. Brought Willow down here with me while Jacob was doing some homework. She wanted to paint some models, so I brought her down here and she sat there painting a big troll. If Adam's watching, he'll recognise the troll. So yeah, she come down the office and she insisted she was going to do some painting. I thought, yeah, there we go. Let's teach her how to do it. And a very, very proud dad moment. I taught her about using the brush properly and only using the tip of the brush and not pressing hard and not scrubbing. And then on Sunday, she was doing some painting with my wife, doing some homework project. And had to paint some rocks from the garden up as ladybirds. And she turned around to my wife, who's like scrubbing this red paint onto the thing. And she turns around and she goes, "Mummy, You are only supposed to use the tip of the paintbrush. She says, you're not supposed to scrub the brush. Like, all the stuff I told her, she's just like lecturing her and telling her, and I'm like, yes, good girl. She listened. Yeah, I think she's got a real interest in it as well, which is nice. Like, Jacob likes to do sculpting, but she's really interested in painting. I think it would just be nice to get them both involved and kind of, you know, hobbying in some form or another. Willow's still very much in that girly phase where she wants to paint everything pink though. Although actually saying that, she did want to give the troll orange toenails, so not all pink. Oh, Riz, did you see what he did though? I need to show you. You haven't seen it, have you? Then he's already done it, mate. Let me just find it for you. He's already done one. I've showed it on here a couple of times actually. Oh, you guys, summer sale still on, 30% off until the end of the month. He did these, Riz. That was his. He sculpted and painted them. They're painted with contrast paints and then dry brush, so they weren't too bad. But his brush control on getting the things was good. He basically turned around to me and says, he was 6 years old when he did this. He's 8 now. So he did this during lockdown. That was it. That's the sculpt. So he did it, and I showed him how to use like snake hooks, insert mesh dart, and orb cracks, and oh god, what was it now? Clay build up. I showed him a few things like that. So then he basically sat down and he went, I know what I want to make. And he decided he's going to go and do a beholder. Mate, I know, isn't it just? I want to do a beholder. And all the stuff I'd showed him, he was like, I can do it with that. So he sat there, got his big sphere, inserted the eye, did the eyebrow ridge and all that kind of stuff. He did all the sculpting around here. Used snake hook to pull all of the tentacles out. Dotted a big eyeball on the end of each of them. Give him all the eyelids. Carved in the mouth. I helped him with the teeth a little bit. And then he went around putting like loads of little scratches and scuffs and marks on it and stuff like I do, because he'd seen me doing it. And he was like, there you go, Dad, I've made my first model. I'm like, bloody hell, mate. And I didn't really think anything of it until we took it to ChillCon a couple of years ago. I think it was about, not last year but the year before. Took it to ChillCon, we had a little pink one. This little dude was sitting on top of our display cabinet as a mascot. Weren't even prepared to sell him or anything like that. And yeah, he goes off and sits up on the top of the shelf, and then pretty much everybody who came to the store to buy anything was asking if they were selling them. And I was like, no, I hadn't even thought about it, to be honest. It was you know, it was just a lucky mascot for us. So they were all kind of saying, "Oh, we'll buy them if you sell them." So we put them up on sale. And I said to Jacob, I said, "Look, mate," I said, every penny we make off it goes into your money box." So I put it up on sale, and I had to give him about 280 quid. So he did all right. And then he's like, "Can I make another one, Dad? Can I make another one?" It's like, yes, mate, in time, but you know. But yeah, he wants to do I think goblins or something next. He wants to do some goblins. I think anything he makes now is going to be a bit more complicated, so I'm going to have to sit down and kind of coach him through it a little bit more. Unless we can find some more like fairly simple monsters for him. Honestly, I'd love for him to have his own little section on my website, so we can just, you know, load it up with his models and keep him going and keep him enthusiastic and whatnot. You know what I mean? But Yeah, he did really well. I'm really pleased with him. And Willow's trying to get her head around like glazing and stuff now, so that's, you know, interesting. Now I know, Riz. I say I have to be honest with him as well. You know, if there's issues, I have to tell him, because I don't want him to kind of, you know, I don't want him to, you know, think he's done a fantastic job and then other people criticise. I'd rather be the one to tell him, actually, mate, we need to do this different. But thankfully, that first Beholder, he just did a fantastic job on it. So. Oh mate, you want to see Willow's pictures? Like 4 years old, she's doing like mermaids and she's adding all the scales on the tail and stuff like that. She's better than I was when I was her age. Oh yeah, I've developed tact with the kids. They get told the truth. But I've had a discussion with Jacob the other week. We were talking about, I think I was talking about it on stream actually, but it ended up with him deciding he wanted to be a professional gamer. Oh, sorry, professional sleeper. The story behind it is funny, but basically it was we were talking about his a drawing I did. I did a little drawing, a link for him. I sat there and, like, you know, roughed this picture out, and it was, oh no, this is better than that, mate. So basically, what happened was, we were talking about this drawing that I'd done, and he was kind of going, "Dad, it's fantastic. It's amazing. It's such a good drawing. How did you get so good?" And I said, "Do you know what, mate?" I said, "I don't think I am." I said, I think I could have been a lot better, because there was a point in my life when I used to draw a lot. And unfortunately, I stopped. I stopped practicing because I started sculpting, so I ended up sculpting more. So I put all my time and attention into developing my sculpting rather than my drawing, and I kind of let the drawing slide. So my drawing now is still pretty much in the same kind of, you know, fairly primitive state it was in 20 years ago. So I kind of stopped developing my drawing now. And I'd love to spend a bit more time and improve it better, but you know, it's one of those luxuries I don't really have the time for, unfortunately. So we were talking about it anyway, and he says, "How did you get so good?" And I said, "Well, put it this way, mate." I said, "You can be good at anything you want if you put your mind to it." I said, "And there's a little trick." I said, "So everything you ever make, everything you ever do, whether it's homework, drawings, sculpting, painting, whatever it is, in whatever discipline, whatever field, whatever." I said, "The thing you always need to do is take a step back once you're finished, critique your own work, so analyse it, see where you're at, have a little look at it and kind of go, right, next time I do this, I would do this better." So, you know, I told him that, and he's like, "Oh, right." He says, "So, he says, and you can get better at anything like that." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, you know, you do a drawing, and you go, right, next time I do the drawing, I'm gonna focus more on the faces. I'm gonna spend a bit more time. I want to get the eyes better. I said, just pick one thing. He's like, "Right, so when I'm like when I'm playing Zelda and I'm fighting a boss, I'm like, well, hang on a sec, mate." I said, we're talking about stuff that, like, you know, is like, you know, stuff you can benefit from improving. And then as I was talking, I was like, actually, do you know what? There's a shit ton of professional streamers out there who make a lot of money by making video game content, playing games, streaming the gaming on Twitch and whatever else. And I said, actually, do you know what, mate? Yes, I said, if you want to do that and you want to get really good at it, then yeah, you can do that. You can make a living out of it, but you've got to try hard, you've got to focus, and you've got to kind of, you know, make sure you're setting your continual improvement goals." And he went, he says, "And people," what? He said, "People watch that." I went, "You watch it, mate?" I says, you watch people playing games and stuff like that?" So I said, "Yeah, people watch it." I said, "You make money off adverts and things like that." He says, what? He says, why would they do that? And well, I said, mate, I said, people will watch pretty much anything. He's like, hang on a second, Dad. He says, are you telling me, like, people could, like, I could just sleep and people would watch it? And I'm like, well, yeah. I said, pretty much. I said, I'm pretty sure there are people who have actually done that. They stream their sleeping or whatever. And he went, that'd be brilliant, Dad. He says, I turn around all over the place. He said, I'd be really interesting to watch while I sleep. He says, I end up upside down. He says, I scrunch the bedclothes up. He says, it'd be brilliant. And I'm like, mate, so yeah, he wants to be a professional sleeper now. Yeah, really. So I'm kind of in the same boat. So my ability to visualise things is better because of being able to do 3D. But I still struggle to get it down on paper. Like actually physically getting that like drawing to come together. And I mean, don't get me wrong, my drawing's not crap. It's not really, really, really bad. But it's not as good. I mean. When I first started streaming, actually, one of the things I used to do, not streaming, sorry, one of the things I started doing when I was first self-employed, I'll see if I can find it. I started doing like a morning, like a half hour in the mornings, just drawing, to try and improve and just try and get like as a kind of a, what's the word? Like a warm-up exercise before I start sculpting. And well, maybe it's something. Maybe do it again. Maybe start it as a thing on the Discord server. Maybe. I'm trying to find where I put them now. So I concept everything in 3D. I don't give drawing any time whatsoever. I don't do anything in 2D anymore. I wish I did, because I'd have more stuff to be able to show online than rather than just renders. I think people engage well with drawings. Where did I put? Character artwork. Oh, so here goes. When I was drawing my goblins, I did that. That was one of my goblins. I'd say it's not terrible, but I do tend to draw with. Oh no! I just did this as an exercise, not because I needed it. I think I'd already sculpted it by the time I drew it. Yeah, just a rough pose sketch. Never did get around to making this guy actually. So that's that. What you see there, the line art sketch, that's pretty much the sum total of anything I ever do. I don't know why I decided I was going to make the elf in the vision of Francis Rossi from Dire Straits, though. Not Dire Straits, Status Quo. series. Ah, now I get where you're going with that. Yeah, I see where you're going. Ah, smart man. You draw him with symmetry on as well then? Yeah, I've got Clip Studio. I have. It's quite good for drawing with actually. Years ago, I did this. There was a thing on, I think it was conceptart.org. I think the website was called, and they used to do it was called Chow, Character of the Week. Yeah, Character of the Week, Chow. And they used to do every week. They used to have like a brief, like a little project brief, and it was like a forum online. You'd go online and you'd post up your pictures of your artwork that complied to the you know, I can't even get my words out now. You know, just kind of matched up. So basically, like whenever you would get like I can't even think what it was, like a pirate chef, say, as a sketch idea, a character design, and you'd have to come up with a character sketch. What's this? Found another one. Oh yeah, that never really happened. That was a bit shit. I'm sure I had a file called Drawings. Drawing warm-ups, there we go. Here we go, so back in 2020 I did this mouse one. So this was my sketch for it. I can't even remember how this one came about, but it was a little study of a mouse, mashing it up and making him into like an. There we go. Have you seen there's a book called Riz, you should get this. It'll be brilliant for you as well. In fact, anyone who does art should get this. It's a book by Chuck Lukacs, and it's called Fantasy Genesis. So let me just go see if I can grab it, and I'll put it on the camera. So this is what I used for the for this whole thing, right? So camera, let's get this on. So I'll show you what it is. So let's hide that so you don't have to look at that. Let's change this to cam. Okay. So here's the Fantasy Genesis book. That's what it looks like. And it's basically as you go through, you've got loads of like fantastic art. The guy does loads of artwork for Magic the Gathering and things like that. But basically what you've got is you use dice. It's like a game. So we've got like anima set here. So you've got like sea life, insects. You roll a d6 and then you get pick up one of these tables, and then within each table then you go and you pick up a subset. So within the sea life you roll like 2d6 and then you get your number, and you basically end up generating like a list of different animals, different creatures, different materials and things. And the gist of it is that you roll on like a whole selection of different tables. So we come to the back and there's like a big table insert thing in this bit. you roll on each of those tables and you generate yourself a little list of prompts, and they're all like totally different kind of stuff. And with that, if we come back to that mouse, I'll show you on the stream. Yeah, oh mate, it'd be brilliant. Anytime you get creative block, it's perfect. If you're ever sitting there kind of scratching your head and you don't know what to do, this book is absolutely fantastic for it, right? So the prompts here, so it was a mouse or a rabbit, berry or grapes, anger, hang or climb, cracked clay, I think it was, and then plucks and gears. Now I don't think I ended up using everything, but I did obviously the angry looking mouse climbing or hanging on the rocks with like all the cracks and stuff in the rocks, and then I put the lone berry that the mouse is after. And I did there you go. I did go on to colour this one. But this was just like a sketch I did for the mornings, just to kind of get myself into trying to get my brain flowing. And obviously using that that list of prompts, it kind of makes you draw. Like I'd never draw a mouse climbing a rock before. You know what I mean? That wouldn't even come into my bloody head. But using the prompts there, it obviously does. But it's really good for creating like unique characters or unique animals and creatures and stuff. So if you're trying to do something that is, you know, like coming up with new concepts for creatures that don't already exist, and you want something a bit unique, it's quite a good way of doing it, because obviously you have an animal to start with as a base, and then you go on and do your, you know, all your other bits and bobs. But yeah, Fantasy Genesis by Chuck Lukacs. I would highly recommend it to anybody who's wanting to kind of get going with the art a little bit. But I might start rolling up some prompts each month. Just do like a little drawing challenge, see if anybody's interested. Could be a 3D or a 2D challenge. You could take it either way. Do you know what I mean? Use it for illustration or for you know, some 3D modelling. I think both would be cool. So this one is going to invert that a touch. So yeah, what do you reckon, guys? Would you fancy joining in, doing a little monthly task, monthly challenge? Not for any reward other than just personal improvement. I'll say 3D or 2D, whatever it is. It's more about the creative side, just getting your brain like going. I think more. You know what I mean? Or you use it as, or you do a little bit of 2D and use it as an opportunity to improve your 2D work. That's what I might end up doing. To do 3D, it's going to take me ages. I'm going to end up kind of wanting to polish it to perfection, and then it's like I'm potentially creating something that's useful for things. Useful? Useless. Nobody would have a use for it in like the games or anything like that, so it'd be some random thing. We did one. Me and Hayley did one ages ago. Actually, one of those things. And I wish I could find the book it was in. She'd absolutely murder me if I showed anybody though. And it was like, it was a parrot that was like struggling, or with oak and crystals and I think flying or something like that, or there's all these different kind of like prompts we got. Oh, remind me about the clay polish thing, Riz. Was that added? Was that was in was it Brush? You use that polish, don't you? Dynamesh. Where was it though? It was Brush. It was in Brush modifiers, wasn't it, or something like that? Was that turn smoothing up to 1 or something? I think. Well, that's actually not great on that. not on the polish brush, I don't think. I think it worked well for the strokes, like the. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, this is, you can lose details, and you lose a lot of details. But I do it on purpose to stylize things often. Yeah, I do the polish intentionally to soften and like block out details. So I say block out details. I don't mean like block them out. I mean like, you know, block them as in like stop them kind of thing. Because it's one of those things where like when you're sculpting the models, you end up putting too much detail in. Using the clay polish is a good way of knocking it back and getting that more stylized look. So if you find you're over detailing something like a face or something like that, and you want to try and get that simplified look, what I tend to do is I tend to like just wallop on Dynamesh with polish, and just, you might have to do it 3 or 4 times just to get to the right, you know, sorry, not do it 3 or 4 times, redo it 3 or 4 times to get to that kind of point where you've got the right balance of detail plus like stylized smoothness. This is one for my Crystal Collapse game, mate. So me and Max are working on this this game, which is inspired by Final Fantasy Tactics. JRPG vibes running throughout. But yeah, we're excuse me. So I've done, let me show you the characters I've done for it so far. So we've got she's not finished. I've had to redo her, so God, my folders are a fucking mess. Right, there we go. There's Corrado. He's the first character who's complete, so he's one of your hero characters for the game. So they're going to be 40mm scale, so 40mm to the eye line. So bigger than the normal ones. They're not supposed to be compatible with everything else. They're pieces for a board game, essentially, or a kind of a custom game we're developing. You only have 8 models on the table, so you know, we thought we'd make them a little bit bigger and a bit more features on them. Because a lot of people seem to be enjoying Shatterpoint at the moment, and right, we've got the King, Hector. So he's the bad guy. We've got, where are we at, Fina? Where's Fina? This is where we need something that's going to name these bloody... Oh, where's she gone? I've got the files at least, but I don't know where I've actually put the thing. I need to clean this up, man. I've got so much crap in this file, it's not even funny. Where's her anyway? I finished her off on the other day, and I put a picture of her up in the renders. The base mesh, yeah, base mesh is polygrouped. So I can take the arms and legs and stuff and move them around. And I feel your pain there, mate. I've not had delete all actually crash. What I have had is when I've gone through, there's one like little corrupted bit of mesh on there, and I can't remove that one file without deleting a shit ton more stuff. That I don't like. No, delete all seems to work fine for me. I've never had the I mean, of all the things I do have crashed, delete all is not one of them, thankfully. So whenever I'm deleting stuff and it crashes, it tends to be because I select an item that is inherently corrupted, and like any time I try and re-click on that item, it's going to crash again. That's the only time I ever really have it. But yeah, normally delete all it's just fine. It's just it's not a drama for me. I never have the issues. Luckily, of the many things that do kind of like crop up and bug the hell out of me, that's not one of them. It's one of the nice things about having a character design where you know what you're making. Where I know I haven't got to faff around trying to design the backside or sides of this armour because I know he's wearing a big red coat. So I can just worry about the front plate. Until Max says to me, "Hey, let's do lots of reposes and different outfits," and I'll start swearing at him. There's a general rule that I don't always follow. Try not to make things that aren't going to be seen. It's pointless, isn't it? Well, I say, there are times I still end up doing it. I can't help myself. So what are you working on today, Riz? Morning, Kev. How are you doing, my lovely? Started a new thing. Surviving. Sounds promising, Kev. It's a good start. How about hobby-wise? You still working on it? Was it you posting up Silver Templars? Or was that somebody else? Let's see what you're posting there. Can I show this on screen, Riz? Oh, nice, nice, nice. That'd be cool then. You get that nicely detailed up. That'll definitely be one of those kind of like figure painters type pieces that they'll love. It's a big chair indeed, isn't it, Kev? It's been a while, Kev. Where you been, man? Geigery Conan. Sounds like a good, interesting concept. Oh, it's gonna be Geigery. Oh, but now that I said Conan in Geiger style, I think you should definitely do that. That little dude on the throne should definitely be like a Geiger Conan. Like something out of Riddick. Oh, yeah. Dude, we knew what you meant. I'm not a teacher, I'm not marking your grammar. Not today. The test isn't till Friday. So Kev, what projects you working on at the moment, mate? You got some hobby projects going round, or? Why, what's up, man? Got some holidays coming up? I think last time we chatted you on stream, you were on the you had the big important visit coming around, didn't you? Well, Kev, if I can help you with anything, and you need any like little assets or anything like that, and I've got to get your head sorted for you. If you need anything else making up for you to be able to do your projects, dude, just give me a shout and I'll see what I can do for you. Yeah, no worries, mate. I'm gonna finish early today anyway on the stream, so I'm gonna be knocking it on the head about 1 o'clock. So I've got a couple of things I need to get done off stream as well. So I don't know if you'll be about then, but happy to have a little chin wag while I'm working. Oh mate, I'm still working. I've got to do stuff I can't. I've got to do stuff I can't do on stream. Sure I can make myself free this evening, dude. To be honest, I've got so much on project-wise, I need to be able to kind of get down and do a bit more. So if it's an excuse to get me down the office, I'll take it. And then I'll try and multitask while I'm down here then. Let's just hide that a second. Ah, come on, you turd. I can even give you a little steer as to what they've released themselves actually, but yeah, it's for Footsore. There's some bits for Footsore to do. And I don't know if you follow Andy Hobday or not on Instagram and Facebook. But I do believe he put us a temporary profile picture up the weekend that might give you a little bit of a hint. Is it exclusive, matey? Exclusive. So I can't show you or tell you what's going on, but as he's leaked a little teaser at least direct you to it so you can find it yourself. Oh, and the other thing I'll say as well, guys, you're going to be seeing like more in the way of terrain from me fairly soon as well. It's going to become like a regular thing. You found it yet, Kev? No worries, mate. You hiding in the stock cupboard again? Oh, nice, yeah. Always fun. Just think, man, once upon a time I could have been your boss. Yeah, you know it, Hen. We used to employ somebody to do that as well. This was a ridiculous thing. We had not through my choice, but we used to have a company that used to come out and do the legionnaire checks for us. It's like, how hard is it to run a tap and just run a bloody temperature probe under it for a bit? It used to annoy me actually that we used to get told we weren't allowed to do like really simple shit that we absolutely could do because it had to be done by contractors. It's like, just let me write the risk assessment. You know, it's not hard to have, you know, risk assessments and method statements for simple stuff, simple tasks that we can do. Like I ended up our CEO the once. What I always found, when you work for a private company and you've got all these people with money, they're kind of like, you know, do you know who I am? Do they know who I am? It's like nobody cares who you are, do you know what I mean? It's like you're not as important as you think you are. And they kick off about stuff. And the once we had like a tap leaking. Was it leaking? No, a tap out of action, sorry. The tap was broken, we'd had to mark it out of action. And we had to call out a plumber to come and do the repairs and stuff, and the plumbers had come out and they'd fix the bits they needed to, but we get charged a minimum call out fee, so I didn't want to call them out for just one tap. So it's kind of like, you know, we've got, you know, 8 other taps in that same bathroom, so let's just mark that one as out of order and jobs are good. And we'd have like, oh, it's pissing down again. I'd get like, you know, I'd get me head chewed off for spending money without, you know, without showing any kind of thought towards saving and stuff as well. So like, I couldn't just justify spending like, you know, 200 odd quid on a plumber's call out to just have one tap changed. So we're trying to make a list of all the jobs that needed doing, and then the CEO walks in, pulls me to one side and goes like, you know, that tap better be fixed like fast, you know, sort it out. It's been out for ages. We've got clients coming round. They, you know, don't want us to see like out of order taps in the bathrooms. I'm like, really, is that your priority? So then they start kicking off about, yeah, exactly. It is. It's just a hustle for money, and it's like that everybody's employing their mates and stuff as well. You know what I mean? There's all like backhanders and stuff going on. It's just, even though there are laws specifically to prevent the backhanders and all that kind of stuff, it still happens. So yeah, it's like the CEO comes in, kicks off about it, and I'm like, well, I'll be damned if I'm getting a plumber out for this. I'm still going to be held to account for it. So the next day I ended up like, I got all the parts and everything in the thing. Next day I came in with my plumbing kit and my jeans on. And I swapped all the taps myself. And then guess what? Got my arse chewed off for it. Like, I gave them all the risk assessments and method statements I'd done. I showed them exactly what had happened. And that's why we employ contractors. And I'm like, see, we're going to sign off on the 250 quid call out charge to get one tap fixed for you. Like how you were. Don't miss it at all, mate. The insurance on a tap. Nah, they never had the. We never had that kind of stuff even like covered off. Do you know what I mean? So as long as there's risk assessments and method statements to show what was done and how it was done safely and whatever else, and that proper precautions were taken, like isolations and stuff, then you're okay. But it's like I do all this stuff at home. It's no, you know, the plumbing in the thing. Yeah, it's more complicated in a massive industrial office building. But like when you're talking about a single tap, That's how they justify the exceptional expenses, isn't it? But I always hated all like the real mundane jobs. Even just meter readings, man. I used to hate meter readings. You have to go to about 8 different meters around a building and get all the stuff from them and go into cupboards with spiders the size of Shelob in there. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, nah, thanks. And then don't even get started on things like the air conditioning. That was a farce. Oh, I think that was a rumble of thunder. Oh, let me just check and see how wet I'm going to get with that place. Yeah, it's passing down out there. Aircon sexist? How's that? Oh yeah, or hot. We had an office inside our office, like a little sub office that was it was occupied entirely by women with a male manager. And yeah, we used to have constant battles. Like there was one woman in there who was like constantly hot, and then there was others. There was 2 that were always cold, and then there was one who actually was fine, and she just got on with it. He never complained. And like literally, the one who was too hot would walk out the room, and the the 2 girls who were cold would go and turn the aircon off or crank it the other way. She'd come back in, and it'd be like, so we ended up having to like take the controls off them. But stupidly, like we had to lock all the windows and stuff, and then everybody was like breaking windows open and stuff like that. Like breaking the locks on the windows, trying to get the windows open because they wanted some fresh air in the building. It's like what are you doing? You know, just behave. And they were like, oh, you know, these windows down here, they can't be locked because it's an escape route in the event of a fire. I'm like, dude, there's a massive, great big fire exit like right next to where you're sitting. Don't give me any shit about the windows being an escape route. You're on the first floor. If you really want to jump out the window, I'm going to open it and make you climb out there and prove to me that you can use it as an escape route. So, you know, let's not go down that route, yeah? Dan, it's so cold in the office today, I've had to put a jumper on. Well, like a dude will do. If that's the worst that happens to you, consider yourself lucky. Damn, the water coming out of the tap is too hot. I've just nearly scalded myself. It's a mixer tap, mate. Do I need to spell it out for you? Do I need to sit you down and give you all a toolbox talk on how to use a mixer tap? My favourite one was like going into the office where they risk assessed everything, and they had risk assessments and method statements for making a cup of tea. And I'm like, dude, really? Get rid of that now. No, we need it. Okay, if you keep that, I'm going to audit you on it. And I'm going to sit there for an entire day and watch to make sure that every single person in your office is doing or is making cups of tea in accordance with your method statement. And if they're not, you've had it. Do you still want to keep your method statement? No, we'll get rid. Thank you. One more useless piece of paper I don't have to worry about maintaining and upkeeping. There's just no such thing as pragmatism amongst so many people, though. It's ridiculous. Oh mate, tell me about it. Another arse covering tool, isn't it, as all? Kind of feel bad. We sent the kids to school with lightweight rain mats today, like the kind of ones you can roll up and stick in your pocket almost. And that don't seem like a rain mat kind of rain. That don't. That's like anoraks and umbrellas type weather out there. Lunchtime from in about 10 minutes. They're going to be going out for like a playtime if it's not hammering down. Yeah, health and safety in this country, mate, is one of those things where it got ridiculous a long time ago, and the problem is there's too many people who are aware of it and know it's important, but they also don't understand the finer points. Like, not everything needs to be risk assessed. It's significant hazards and risks. And the problem is, if you start documenting and risk assessing things that don't need risk assessing, and you create work procedures and method statements, things like that for working in, with things like domestic risk, domestic hazard and risk, you end up taking on liability for those things. My favourite one was the idiot auditor we had once. We had an environmental audit in Bolton. And I had to go up there, and this clown of an auditor comes in, starts looking for stuff. Oh, dude, tell me about it. This environmental auditor comes in, starts looking at the at all the stuff we got. And it was a small office with about 10 people in it. Where's your cost assessment for this office? And I'm like, have you looked in around the office? Like, there isn't any kosh. There's no hazardous substances. Oh, what about your Tipex? Like, we don't use Tipex in the office. It's like, it's computers and stuff, mate. All right. Well, what about your pens? Like, I'm not kosh assessing a pen. Get stuff. All right. How about washing up liquid? I'm like, it's an insignificant hazard. Oh, we didn't have any cleaning materials. We had cleaning contractors come in who kept all their own stuff in a cleaning cupboard outside. So like it wasn't even on our. It was a multi-tenanted office, and it was provided by the landlord, so we didn't have to deal with that even. So the only thing we had was washing up liquid. And I said, look, it's a domestic hazard. It's a domestic product. I'm not doing a cost assessment for washing up liquid. All the information you need is on the bottle. I'm not complicating that. Oh yeah, it's a domestic hazard. It's an insignificant hazard, but if you had a complete bottle discharge into the sink at the same time as, like, the guys next door and then their neighbours, and 24 other companies all have a simultaneous discharge of washing up liquid into the sewage system, then it becomes an environmental issue. And I'm like, you're really going there? You're really going to take it there? Okay, you write that up, you put that in your report, and I'll address it. But if you want to put your name to that stupid statement, then you're a bigger idiot than I thought. Like, sort yourself out, dude. So yeah, that was my management style. Yeah, totally do. Here we go, case in point for that one. So, the MD at my last company I worked for, I was doing facilities management and health and safety and all that kind of good stuff. He turns around to me and says, I want a flagpole up. So the company we worked for was Japanese. He wanted the British flag, the Union flag up on one flagpole. And he wanted the Union flag on one flagpole. He wanted the Japanese flag on another, and he wanted the company flag, like the company logo, on a flag on a third one. So I'm like, fine, I'll sort it out. So we're in the process of sorting the flags out, and then he comes back and he goes, I've just been to Germany, to the office in Germany, and I've got these flags up, I want these. So at this point I've already ordered the flags, I'm already annoyed. So he then comes along and he's like, I want these flags, and they're like, basically they're like an L shape, and the flag's vertical. And we're like, well, firstly, I don't think you're allowed to actually hang the Union flag vertically. So, you know, in terms of, I don't know if there's laws around it or standards or something else, but you ain't supposed to do it. So that got raised by loads of people in the office who were, you know, unhappy about that. And then he goes and says, you know, well, I don't care, I want it done. So, like, okay, we'll make it happen. On your head be it. So, get him to give us a written instruction. And off he goes. Then, just do this. Then he goes and says, actually, they're no good, these flags aren't, because they spin around. And like, it's a flag, it blows with the wind. What do you want me to do? Oh, well, I want them to not blow. I want them to stay still, stay static. And I'm like, nobody does it. Like, literally nobody makes these flags. And he went, I don't care, make it happen. So I got on the phone to the flag companies and I'm like, look, our MD wants this. And they were like, yeah, you can't do that. I'm like, why not? He says, but basically it turns the flagpole into a sail. I'm like, okay. He says, like, if the flag is mounted and fixed in place so it can't spin and rotate, it's going to catch the wind and it's going to basically like yank whatever it's attached to, rip your flagpole out of the ground and send it crashing down. So I kind of explained this to him, and he still didn't want to hear it. And he's still like, I want them flagpoles bolted on. I don't want them to spin. And it's like the flags are double-sided, like, you know, doesn't matter what's happened. No, they've got to be in one order. They've got to be in the order they're showing. He said, I can't have them flying backwards, and it just becomes, the whole thing just becomes like a ridiculous farce, because like, I want ice cream and I want it hot. You can't have ice cream and have it hot because it's ice. It's got to be cold. No, make it happen. That's what happens when you work for power hungry narcissists, I think. Right guys, I think Rosie's going to be here in a second, wanting to keep a chat going. I've run out of coffee and the rain's broken, so I'm going to leg it up the house for a quick wee, grab another coffee and be back in like 5 minutes. Okay guys, so don't go away, and we'll get this guy wrapped up and finished off. So bear with me and I'll be back in a minute. Indeed, Kev, indeed. Yeah, you've got to be able to do the job, haven't you, and understand the ins and outs of it. If you start like pointing and shouting, it doesn't get anybody anywhere. Oh, it's still raining, so wish me luck. I'm going to get drowned. Right, I'll see you in a minute, guys. Back in a minute. Okay guys, so I'm back. Just give me a second. So I've just got absolutely saturated coming back from the office, or back to the office. Luckily I've got a spare t-shirt down there because this one is absolutely clinging to me. Mute you a second. Okay, there we go then. Didn't wait to have to listen to my strip show as I was getting changed. Jesus Christ. That is obscene out there. Coffee's retopped anyway. No biscuits, Riz. Especially not soggy ones. Kept one down there. Yeah, no worries, Kev. You go off and do your thing, mate. I'll catch you later, dude. Oh yeah, definitely. Most meetings are, dude. Yeah, me and Max were talking about this the other day, and we were saying like here with like anime type faces and anime type characters, you don't really almost need. See you later, Kev. You take it easy, man. Yeah, you don't really need to have like unique faces. It's almost like it's just the hair and the outfits. And I don't know if you've seen that thing where they take the Dragon Ball Z characters and they just swap the hair over and now they're literally all the same face. Oh, cheers, Riz. Sorry, mate. Sorry, guys. Got to change the screen back. Proper professional streamer, mate. Oh, it's Bonker today. So I'd go for a stream, not even for him. Sheldon Cooper about him here, I think, isn't there? Or actually, you know, I can't remember the actor's name now, but the guy who plays Damien in the Vampire Diaries. Ian Somerville or something, is it? Or mother-in-law's a massive fan of him. I can't remember his name. Adam over on Facebook, thanks for the follows today. Thanks for the like. If you're still there, I'll give you a lovely weekend. Your Monday is not going too bad either. One thing I did notice when I was doing this guy's head, his head is quite flat. What's that? How much of an upskirt do you think you do as a fabric compared to just blocking it in? It depends on the scale, to be honest with you. If you're gonna go for like if you're gonna do it for 32mm, you really want it to be solid. If you're gonna go for, so what you got to think is you're potentially gonna have to have supports that get up inside. So your supports have got to be able to reach in there. God, my coffee's so hot still. Let me just have a little look. Do you know? I'll show you on this guy, and I'll demonstrate what I'm on about. So here, this bit here, I've left that open at the front. Sorry, I've hollowed it out pretty much entirely because it's open at the front. If that was a closed-in skirt, this would all be solid because getting up there is unnecessary. You can't get a paintbrush up there. If you can't get a paintbrush up there, then while it's standing and glued to a base, if you can't get a paintbrush in there to paint it, you might as well make it solid and make your life easier. So if it's going to be an area that's going to be accessible to a paintbrush, then I'd. Hey, you on YouTube? I am terribly sorry, but that appears to be a I'm going to go on a limb and say Russian name, and my Russian is non-existent, so I can't even pronounce it, unfortunately. But hello? Well, if you're not having it cast, you haven't got to worry about any kind of undercuts in terms of tearing out chunks of the moulds. But what I would still try and do is I always just think, can I get a paintbrush in there? So, Bunker, you're on Facebook. How are you doing today? So yeah, if you've got like an area like here, for example, this bit of cloth. When I pose this guy, I'm probably going to extrude this cloth back into his crotch and into his leg, because you're not going to be able to get a paintbrush behind it, so I'm going to pull that one back. Make sure it's like touching here as well, so there'll be contact there. But when I do, if this was like a longer skirt and it was down and like billowy, again the areas that can reach in would be covered. Let me see if I can show you an example using not him. Yeah, let's have a look at this guy for a minute. So this one here is, you see this like little loincloth bit. I flip that upside down, you can see it's a solid block. There's no need to try and get up there and infill that. The area behind the cape, theoretically you can flip them upside down and paint that, but what I would normally try and do is I'd bring the cape at the top area closer to the body. So that either means bringing this back, so there's a bit of a billow in the skirt bit, or just extruding the cape in. Hey Kurt, how are you doing? Hope you keep them all today. Had a good weekend. And then over on this side here, Corrado, you can see I've done it all on him. This is a better example because he's actually been like prepped for printing. So on him I actually have gone in and closed the gaps. So you can get in around here, but this bit around here is like solid. Under here, you can't get up there with a brush, so I've locked it out. Block, 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 block. So you can see, even though it's a big billowy cloak with a couple of loincloth layers, it's still a solid mass. Ignore the shitty bit of mesh on the end of the... So hopefully that helps to kind of explain it a little bit. But yeah, it's all around the... It's all, you've got to base it on paintability is the essence of it, mate. If it can't be painted, then you don't need it. Get the spikes brush. wear pads. This is the character for, I can't remember if we were talking about it when you were on stream the other day, but there's a game I'm working on called Crystal Collapse. So this is one of the original characters for that game. So he's going to be a dragoon. So again, if you're familiar with like Final Fantasy classes, this will mean something to you, but he's going to be a dragoon type character from the Empire of Varland, which is like technically the bad guys in the game. I say technically the bad guys. The king's a bad guy. The rest of them are like following orders and whatnot. But yeah, Kingdom of Varland is one of the characters for that faction. His name's Joshua. So he's basically fighting with a big ass spear and stuff. It's not my own design. There's drawing down the bottom of the screen. It's done by an awesome artist called Alexandra. Who he's done a fair few different bits for us now. He actually helped me design the Warlock, so I gave him a brief on that and he came up with a few thumbnails along the guidelines I gave him. So the Warlock is partly his design. Yeah, Alexandra has designed these characters. Max has come up with the character concepts. So in this case, I've got minimal design input really. I'm just sculpting the actual miniatures. So it looks a little bit better. That's not even going to be seen in the end. But yeah, the game will be it'll be coming on soon actually. For let me just do a quick save. It'll be coming on soon for yeah, so I'm working with Max, Max from Woodpecker Games. So we're coming up with the thing. The game's a collaborative between the two of us. So we're both involved in that. Max is writing rules. I'm kind of helping contribute to that as well. Jesus Christ, bunker! I nearly shit myself. Thank you, though. You did that on purpose, you bugger. I'll say, guys, unfortunately, I need to be knocking it on the head in about half an hour because I've got a couple of jobs I've got to do offline as well. So stuff I can't sculpt on stream. But I'll be back tomorrow doing more sculpting anyway. Probably more of this. I was saying he's got a very Damon from Vampire Diaries kind of vibe about him at the moment, I think. You've been hanging around long, Bunker, or you've been you just got here? Fair play, matey, fair play. I was saying earlier I was missing you a little bit, mate. Felt wrong doing a whole stream without you being there. car twig. I've just twigged your thing. Your name is a Pokemon, isn't it? Almost. I don't know why it's just jumped into my head. I've just realised it's Turtwig, isn't it? But with cur in there because you're a Kirsty. Now I get it, yeah. It was plenty clever. It just took me a bit too long to twig. No pun intended. But I'll call it a win. Bonker, it's your birthday today. I've not seen any notifications. Are you keeping it a secret or am I just being slack? No, it's not your birthday, or... Oh, it's the girl's birthday. "14, jeez, mate. I wish her a happy birthday from us as well. It's gotta make you feel old, mate. I mean, my little one's just turned 8 and I'm feeling like, where the hell's that gone? Then I got Willow planning birthday invitations for her 5th birthday, which is until November. She's writing little lists out of people she wants to invite. A guest list for a birthday party. I'm sitting there kind of going, stop growing up, both of you. Give it a rest. Oh man. The youngest in secondary school, that's got to be a killer, mate. You know what I think about it, man. Shouldn't be allowed, should it? Yeah, Kirsty, when you put happy birthday pickle, I thought you... I forgot he calls his little un pickle. I thought you were just being affectionate with him. It's alright, we got there in the end. We figured it out eventually. Or I figured it out. You lot already know. You'll confuse things even more then. Call him Pumpkin instead. Sorry, Bunker. So Max has been doing his Nanolift promotions at some more big shows over in Germany. The big one in Berlin over the weekend. I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called. I'm very much looking forward to the promotions being all about this game, to be honest. I haven't yet, actually, mate. No, I need to find a bit of time for that. I tried to do sports on the bloody Minotaurs the other day, and God, that was hard work. There was like so many supports on the one, and then Lychee crashed because I was running on a laptop, and I think I just didn't like it. But yeah, I'm gonna run that this afternoon when I'm off stream anyway. I think. Just got to re-slice it. Sorry, I've got to re-export the model without the base. Max has sent me the figures in the STL format for the actual game, so what I'll do is I'll put them in there and I'll rescale it accordingly as well, because it came out looking too small to me. There's no way it could have been that small for real, so we'll see. Oh yeah, other thing I want to show you as well. I finally finished Jacob's mural, the Zelda one I've been doing for him. Well, I say Zelda, it's Nintendo characters, isn't it? Finally got it bloody finished. I've only been doing it since November. And the paints I used were absolutely bloody awful. I know, yeah, little Pichu in there. His favourite little Pokemon, that one is. Well, I say little favourite. His favourite little Pokemon is it's pink and it sings. What's it called? Basically, it looks too much like Kirby, so I couldn't do both of them because it'd be too Jigglypuff. That's it. There'd be two little pink balls at the bottom of the scene if I'd have put Jigglypuff in there. So we chose Pichu instead. Then we got Toad, we got Spyro, we got Sonic, we got Link, we've got Murphy from Rayman. He had about 100 different other things in there he wanted as well, and I was like, mate, we've got to call it somewhere and stop, otherwise we'll just go on forever. So that's all finished now anyway, so that's one thing down. Oh, and then show you this one as well. So I had Willow down the office with me the weekend, and she's having a little go at painting. So she came down. She's got a little. I don't know if you can see the big troll there that she's been working on. I was teaching her some like brush control, getting her to like paint, like thin the paint, and kind of put it on. She still went a bit haphazard, but she's definitely got it tighter than she did before. So she wants me to. She's gonna get that model finished, and she wants me to sell it at a show. So I says, yeah, we'll get you 50 quid for that, bub, no worries. Thank you, Kirsty. I went to Expo, but I was there with. I wasn't there as me. I went with Cursed Empire. So we were on the SBG edition stand. Were you there, Cursed? We were selling some of my models, but mostly it was the Cursed Empire stuff. I missed Luke Gygax actually. I didn't see him there at all. Well, I was bogged down on the stall, so it was hard to get out of there. I think next year it's if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna have to do it as me. I think so. Yeah, I'll be doing Chilcon in Sheffield. And to be honest, I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled for like other shows to do for next year, because I've got all the display stands and packaging materials and that kind of swag now, and I want to kind of get into doing a bit more physical stuff. So I think it'd be nice to be able to do a couple of shows. Usually April, Kirsty, the Chilcon. They've just started advertising it again. It was at Ecclesfield School in Sheffield, but I believe they're up for a venue change for this time round, so I'm not sure what that was at. Yes, the York one. Is that Vatn attack, is it all? Somebody else told me about. I need to get my head down and like actually find some of these like shows out and get recommendations on which ones to go to. Because people always say Salute, but I don't know. Getting a stand at Salute's like pulling teeth because they tend to offer it to people who've been there in the past. So unless somebody can't make it, trying to get a stall is quite difficult. And also Central London, so that one kind of always puts me off. Dragon Meat, I've been recommended, but again, London. Tabletop Gaming Live, I think, was Manchester last year, so I might have a little look into that one, see if that's one to do. So you went to the Goliath stand, you really wanted to pick up some of his adventures, and then look who's behind you. Well, I suppose if he's there, you're bound to bump into him, aren't you? Unless he's gone off on a little jolly. I had a habit of doing that actually. I had like loads and loads and loads of people came round to see me, and quite often what would happen is they'd rock up when I was off at the loo or grabbing a coffee or something like that, or if I'd taken like 10 minutes off to go and have a little browse and a little run around. The previous year I missed so many people because they came around to see me, and I was like, we were quite quiet the previous year. There was a lot less people there, and we were quite quiet on the stand, and I was like, do you know what, I'm going to go out and just like shove some flyers in people's hands and try and be proactive. So I went out flyering, and everybody bloody came to see me when I weren't there. So it was a bit of a mistake, but yeah, I decided I weren't going to do the flyering this year. Wasn't as useful as I was expecting it might have been. Cheers, Bunker. Brilliant. Cheers, Kirsten. I say I'll normally be at UK Games Expo because I literally live like 2 minutes down the road. It's a perfect show for me in that respect because it's very big. But like I say, the last couple of years I've ended up going with Chris. He comes over. He comes over from France, you see, and he ends up sending all his stocks to me, and then I end up hosting him and kind of like getting him there. And obviously, if I do the show myself, then we've got to have the conversation about like me not doing it with him, kind of thing. Which means he'll have to kind of make more accommodations and more kind of like. Yeah, it's a good location. I prefer. I think it's a better one generally than most of them, because like obviously all the ones down in London are London. So you're talking about London prices, London hotels, etc., etc. It's going to be a nightmare for most people, except for people who are physically in London, and that's like in the wargame industry. That's not that many of us. And then obviously Manchester is up north, but it's the other way. Again, it's not a million miles for me, so I wouldn't mind doing Manchester. York's a bit further up, but I mean Nottingham's the centre of industry for wargaming, isn't it? With Games Workshop's head office and stuff. So I don't know why there's not more around the kind of the East Midlands area. I was actually talking to Hayley the other day. We were talking about kind of looking into getting an actual like show set up. So we were thinking about like UK Games Expo is the only one in Birmingham. So I set it a task to like have a look and see if we can find suitable venues, find costings on them, etc. And see if there's a possibility that we could run a new wargaming show. Which I'd be up for. I'll call it Nerdvana. Hey Dennis. 28mm scale, eh? Nice. Look forward to seeing them. Yeah, no worries, Kurt. I'm gonna duck off in a second anyway because I've got this other stuff I've got to do offline. Try and get this coat finished before I do. Thanks for dropping in today, though. Always a pleasure. Dennis, you printing the tanks in FDM or are you doing them in resin? Can't remember if you've even got a resin printer actually. I know you normally do FDM, don't you? That's right. I couldn't remember if you didn't have a resin printer or if you just preferred FDM for your models. Well, the ones I've got at the moment are like a 6.5-inch build plate. Sorry, 6-inch build plates. I've got the Epax X1, which is a 5.5-inch build plate, and I've got the Sonic Mini 4K, which is a 6-inch. To be honest, the Epax X1 is verging on a little bit too small, particularly because I have an issue with the slicer where for some reason I can't go to the extremities of the build plate without things getting sliced off. So even though it looks like it's it should be on there, it gets clipped if I take it right to the edges. So I have to come in a little bit. So the Sonic Mini 4K 6-inch build plate is fantastic. You can get about another 4 or 5 models on that plate versus the X1. But the next printer I'm picking up is the Anycubic M3 Premium, and that's a 10-inch build plate with the 8K resolution, which puts it up at what is it now? 35 micron resolution, I think, give or take. I've also got an X10, Epax X10. That's a 4K one as well. But I don't use that because the resolution's a bit low for me now. So it's like, it's like a 2K resolution, about a 50 micron pixel size. So for the stuff I do, it just doesn't cut the mustard anymore. It's not on par quality wise. I've tried advertising it, nobody really wants it. something else I really need to get done as well. I haven't done any bloody Patreon updates this month. So nobody on the Patreon, if they're not on, if they're not on the Discord and they're not on the on the streams and stuff, they won't have seen anything I've been making. I really should be telling them, shouldn't I? Oh, you prick. Right guys, I think that's a good place to end the stream. So I'd like to finish on a high of having finished something. Zbrush crash seems as good a time as any. You dick, Zbrush. Right, I'm going to see what I can retrieve and what I can recover from this, and let's go and drop you guys in on mic. Okay, so I've got to read all the bandages on the sleeves, but everything else is there apparently, it seems. Awesome. Right then, let's go and drop in on Mr. Mike Moans. See how we go. Guys, thank you for joining me today. I'll be back tomorrow with a normal stream, normal finish time, etc, etc. I'll be probably working on this guy again, possibly doing some more of Joe's posing on his kind of World War II steampunk type guys, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to be offline doing some bits and bobs. If anybody's wanting to chat, I'll be around in the Discord as well. And yeah, thanks for joining me today, and we'll catch you later, taters. Adios.